Go ahead and post. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another stream by us here at 30 eSports. Today, we are going to be kind of taking a look at patch 8.15 and kind of try and do an objective breakdown of how we think this patch is actually going to affect the players in the league, rather than just what the patch means in general. So we'll try and do that. Again, it'll be a little bit hard to get super in depth into what the effects are going to be because we haven't seen most of the players yet, but we can take a quick guess. And this is a pretty good patch to start on from what I've seen so far. So.
I was gonna say we might not be able to do it in depth on like the specific players, but as a whole for the league, for league in general, I feel like is what the first couple weeks that we are able to do this on probably was going to be more geared towards.
Yep.
Poly rework thing.
Go ahead.
I was just saying a Kali rework is a thing. Have they put out her actual numbers yet?
Maybe on the reveal page.
Possibly.
No, they're somewhere.
No. I don't.
I'm sure they're.
She doesn't
sure
come out this patch, right?
Say what?
So she doesn't come out this patch. Should be next patch, right?
No, she's this patch. Yeah, she comes.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, she comes out tonight. And she will be disabled for this weekend. We are not allowing people to play her this weekend. So.
Right.
But yeah, so that'll be fun. New Akali. Oh boy, just what we needed.
Yeah, I'm really not liking. I mean, I like the changes, the ideas of it. I just don't know how strong it's. I don't know her numbers, so I don't actually know how strong it's going to be.
Right. We're going to be doing what, 5 or 6 of these throughout the season?
Yeah, we're going to be running down every patch, so it's going to be 5 or 6. Let me count.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 of them actually.
7, Jeebers believe.
14 weeks divided by 2, so I guess mathematically that makes sense. All right, let's get into Phil 6. Phil 6 right now is in a really good spot actually.
Yep.
Does well against the Heimerdinger and such. Pretty much the counter to Morg.
Yep.
So I'm hoping with seeing him get nerfed, Morg also is going to be followed in suit.
You mean more Morg play, or that they'll get nerfed?
That they'll nerf Morg as well. I haven't looked at the patch actually yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm hoping she gets hit.
Fingers crossed. I know the spoilers. But no, I mean this is a pretty significant nerf at level 1. Like Darkwind up to 70 mana.
Yeah.
When you spam this, and I don't even think that's the ability that you max first on Fiddlesticks. So this is a pain that you're going to be feeling for a while. Are people maxing Fear first? No, they are maxing. They are maxing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would imagine they would.
Okay, so yeah.
The poke is so strong.
Yeah, I mean, but the poke is strong. The base damage nerf, no one's gonna feel that. That's a worthless nerf. But
5 damage is gonna affect you once in every 100 games, maybe.
Right. But the 20 mana cost, that's a pretty big deal. It makes him a lot less safe. You might start seeing a little bit more like mana flow banned on him, possibly. Because I know some people are taking Nimbus Cloak for the ultimate, but we'll have to see how that actually plays out. But yeah, he's definitely not going to be as oppressive. I think he's still going to be fine. This doesn't break the core of Fiddlesticks of just walk up, get the point-click CC, right? That's something that's sorely lacking in the game for a long time, is point-click CC. So I think his core value is still there. You just have to play him a little bit better.
You're still going to be the oppressive. Fiddlesticks has always been. It's just you're going to have to be smarter with your mana cost now, which I think is fine. Like, I think this change is actually okay.
Yeah.
And well warranted at that.
Yeah, no, I think he needed it. I kind of would have liked to see a slight buff to damage versus monsters, though, to compensate for the mana change. That maybe Jungle Fiddlesticks doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
I don't think any of our people are going to be playing Jungle Fid. So, in terms of how it really affects our players, I don't think it's going to be a big deal for our league specifically.
Going on to Fizz next. Buffs.
Yeah, so Fizz buffs.
Pretty sizable.
Yeah. So last patch, They kind of reworked Fizz's W um, to make it less bursty but more consistent damage over time. Um, so in the long run, his W is supposed to give him more damage than it used to, but it's just not as kind of loaded into one time.
Right.
And they missed the mark pretty heavily.
Hmm.
So this is their attempt to fix that. I think, yeah, another 20% there, 10% there, like that. Those are good numbers. Plus an extra that 50 base damage at level 5. That's huge. That is actually a little bit of an unreal buff to me.
The alt.
No, the 50 base damage on his W
Oh,
at level
yeah.
5. That's on the active, so that's not the burn, but
Right. That's I mean still 50 base.
yeah, plus
You're not
essentially
maxing
30.
that, are you?
You might be. I mean, theoretically, you might. I think most people are maxing E, but I mean, so this would be like max second. But
Hmm.
I mean, because it's already a bigger damage over time, we might see some like tank fizzes if people are actually playing that.
I could see Hank or Jungle Fizz possibly coming back. I don't think is going to, but I mean, very niche situations, certain people might bring it out. I know someone from Vex was trying it for a little bit. Was trying like the Triforce build or something.
Yeah.
They said it felt okay, but not not to the extent of what it used to be.
Right. Oh, I mean, with this change, it might. We're not sure, but this is a pretty big good buff, so we'll see how
Mm-hmm.
that goes. And yeah, the alt change. Um,
Those are pretty big alt buffs, honestly.
yeah, I mean the max range one is pretty negligible. Another 10% max range, you're not really gonna feel that, but you'll be a lot happier getting those short range ults on Fizz. So I think it
Extra
makes him a little bit more
0.3% is
consistent.
huge.
Doesn't Zog play a lot of Fizz from
Yes, Zog
BOD?
does.
Okay, so he's gonna be appreciating this. Yeah, he plays
Yes.
a decent amount of Fizz. So yeah, Zog will appreciate this. I think there was another assassin player too that might like these changes, but still don't really know how he's going to fit in with the rest of the meta until we actually see it in play. But these are sizable buffs.
Yeah. Right. Australia. Oh my.
Yeah, this is a big change.
Oh my. Trying to like just comprehend. I mean, the base stat change is actually. I mean, extra 30 HP and 3 AD. Like that's actually pretty big.
Yeah, those are nice. The damage influx back into her passive, which I think
Mm-hmm.
they took damage out of her passive a couple of
Yes.
weeks ago or a couple of patches ago. Um,
When they did her kind of mini, not rework, but change.
Yeah, but I think this is the path they should have done at first with her, because essentially what all this boils down to, because this is a lot of kind of info at once. Her Q's worse, um, at doing for damage, which objectively it shouldn't be like her main damage tool. I think it's her mobility, it's what's get her, it's how she plays around the fight. I don't think that should be her end all ability. So nerfing that I think is good. The damage reduction she has been pretty broken because why the hell does she need damage reduction? I mean, I know why, but it's a little
She
silly.
does need it. I don't think it needed to scale up to
Right,
65%.
65%, and it scales with AP. Not that she's building AP, but still, that can have even more scaling. So putting that at flat 50 makes it a more reliable skill, and it lets them maybe tune other parts of it, like maybe give it a little bit of its damage back. Now that it's not just making her take nothing.
Right.
Um, I generally like the change to the E. I think the 50 range is kind of big. It makes her actually have to use her Q to get a little bit closer to you, which is good. And the base damage don't really care about that, but at least now you can use it to farm a little bit better.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's just the monsters. I mean, jungler really, I guess.
yeah. So I mean, what one thing you can do really well with Aurelia is you can take Raptor Camp like incredibly easily, and
Yeah.
so this will help a lot with that. So mid lane Aurelia might be able to start taking Raptors a little bit more often with that.
I think when I guess the range down on the R, like that could have some effect. 50 range is still 50 range, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's the end all be all.
No, yeah, I mean, same thing with the 50 range on the E. One thing worth noting though is Aurelia's Q actually applies on hit effects, which means it
Hmm.
actually applies her passive. So um, at level 1, you're losing 5 damage, sure, but you're also getting an extra 3 on your passive. So you're really only losing 2 damage there. Um,
Yeah,
and not to mention, because this is stronger, uh, late game, this is actually kind of almost a Q buff if you take the passive into account. So as long as you're playing around your passive, the only nerf that you're getting to your Q is the range and the 10% AD scaling.
yeah. I think overall, actually, this isn't well. Oh yeah, it's actually just an overall buff to the Q
When you
because
first
of the
look at
AD.
it, yeah, I think when you first look at it, goes you just why are they nerfing her again? But I think because this
Just
is a
tuning her a little
pretty
bit better.
yeah, this is a pretty decent buff. Because that's per stack. So an extra 5 damage per stack, you get like what is it, 4 stacks, 4 or 5? Yeah, it's 4 stacks. So that's
So
an extra
yeah,
20 damage on hit every auto attack, which isn't phenomenal, but still seeable. So her auto attacks are going to be stronger, which is pretty solid. And that's theoretically what she should be. She shouldn't just be dashing around one shotting you with her abilities when her kit's supposed to be kind of focused around her passive and getting those on hit effects off.
I think I actually like the changes to Aurelia. When I like first initial look, I wasn't a huge fan of it because I was kind of wondering why.
Yeah.
I was actually really concerned about like I know it might seem very small, but like in laning phase, an extra 30 HP is actually pretty decent.
No, yeah, 30 HP. That's solid. I mean, that's an extra auto attack from a Vladimir.
Mm-hmm. Extra auto attack in lane from people that you probably could be going against with your armor and whatnot, your base.
Right. So yeah, I mean, this is offsetting these changes just a tad, not as much because I mean these are decently substantial.
Yeah,
But basically she's less bursty, better sustained, which I feel is the way that she should have been the whole time because it was always a little weird. You get this Aurelia, she gets Triforce and she starts one shot at you, just like isn't your kit not designed like that? But it was. So I like these changes. I think this is a lot healthier for her. Good direction. Let's go to take a look down at Kindred. In terms of how it actually affects the league, real quick with Aurelia, I don't really know if we have any Aurelia players, so I don't know how much that really affects it. But I think if you know what you're doing with her, this is a decent change compared to what she was in the last patch or two. So maybe look into Aurelia. All right, Kindred. What do you think of the Kindred changes?
sorry, I was responding to someone.
Okay.
Kindred. Oof,
Oof.
oof, Um, I mean, obviously they're pretty big. She just came back.
I'm actually gonna pull up Kindred's page so I can read her abilities.
I don't think this is gonna affect her enough to like drop her out of meta per se, but I mean it definitely knocks her down a peg. I mean, because probably doing it's gonna add you
Okay.
another 2 seconds to clear probably on each camp.
A little bit. So I actually didn't know how it worked. So I just looked up Kindred's abilities. So I'll pull it up here real fast. On her W, so Wolf's attack speed is based off of Kindred attack speed,
Yeah.
which I didn't realize. So I saw that and I was like, I don't know what that actually means. So, but that's bonus attack speed. So level 1, I don't think you're actually getting affected by that at all because you don't really have a bonus attack speed. Not
Right.
much unless you're going into precision. So you've got a little bit. So Wolf was losing like he's losing like 8 attack speed at level 1. I don't know how much you get from precision, but I think it's like 12 or so. Um, which is
I, I
yeah, that's a thing.
I don't think it's gonna. I mean, it's gonna affect team fights more than their clear. If anything, later game in the team fights, which I think that it won't be enough to really do much to her, honestly.
No, the ult
Yeah,
cooldown is bigger than the W change.
right. Um, again, I don't. Lamb's Respite isn't really an alt that is like it's off cooldown. We're fighting now, like a Malphite alt,
Right.
not a go button. So the difference in that being there is kind of it feels placebo-ish. Where yeah, I guess you got 20 seconds off. When you get 40% CDR, it boils down to what extra 15 seconds or no, extra 10 seconds off roughly.
Yeah, it's
It's not going to matter too much.
right. I mean, it's obviously a nerf, but it's not like like it's not the end all be all. An extra 20 seconds. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know if we actually have any Kindred players. I think a lot of people should be playing her. She's fairly simple to play.
really good
And
right now
just
too.
yeah, super strong, fairly simple. Has a lot of team power because her ult is just so strong. Like that's a AOE Tryndamere ult. Why not, right? So not the worst thing. Keep playing Kindred. Keep getting that free elo. Definitely try and pull it out in tournament. I think that would be a good idea. Because she's still gonna be strong. All right, Lee
Yeah.
Sin. Who Nelly? Oh, they actually changed it. This said 50% this morning.
Why is he getting?
Yeah, this change is
Oh,
crazy. I think this change
oh.
might be enough to bring Lee Sin back.
I was like, I didn't read the execute damage. Um, I was like, why are they just nerfing him to the floor? I was like, he's not even good right now. I was like, what happened?
No, this is
Okay,
with the other buffs that they've been giving Lee Sin lately, like making his abilities still count down their timer even when you're on like the second cast. I think this has the potential to make Lee Sin like top tier, possibly the best, one of the best junglers again.
I
Especially with the state of the meta,
say I think just because of the state of the meta, probably possibly.
right? Because
Um, if it was late game meta, no. If it was tanks and whatnot, no, because Lee Sin doesn't really thrive in that.
right, well,
This,
and like on that, I don't even know like if we'll get into like a super late game meta for a while. And with the direction Right's trying to take it, where everything has
yeah,
its kind of viability within 30 minutes, right? So
right.
we'll
Yeah,
see. But
I think this definitely could bring Lee Sin back. I don't want to say it's going to make him top tier quite yet, because I still think other champions can beat his clear speed and his early dueling.
but this
I'm
is
just not sure
pretty
how much this is
insane to
actually
lose
going to do.
dueling though, right? I mean, say you run into somebody at Scuttle level 2 when most people are half health, right? I
Yeah.
don't know the exact scaling ratio for this, but I assume if they're at 50%, well, no, it can't be that. It would. I don't know where like the marker is for damage increase, but right.
It probably does if they're at 50. If they're missing 50%, you're going. Oh, yeah, you're probably going to do 50% more damage to them, which actually sounds nuts.
But I think it would actually be an even better number than that because by that mark you would do 100% increased damage when they have no health. So it can't be that number. So if it scales up to 100% increase, it can't be a 1-to-1 ratio because then it would never actually be 100% because they'd be dead.
I mean, if he's doing an extra 100% damage to someone at 50% HP, there's something wrong.
It's not. Well, I think it's gonna. It's. I don't think it'll be at 50%. It'll. I think they usually do it around 30% or so. Is like when it starts capping. So I don't know the exact number of when the 100% is applied
Right.
at their health ratio, but it's definitely
Even,
not at 0% health. I can
right.
guarantee you
even
that.
even if it is a 1-to-1 though, like in worst case scenario,
Right.
like that's. I mean, it's still good.
Right. And that's damage that the whole spell does. So that's not just like 50% extra base damage. That's how much bonus attack damage scaling is getting too. So this is going to do at rank 5 when it's at its full 100%, you're going to do 150 plus 1 times 2. So it's going to be 300 plus 2 200% base attack bonus attack damage. Right? That is nutty damage increase, right? That is so much better than an 8% of targets missing health. In pretty much almost any scenario. Maybe in the extreme of like a tank, but late game tank fights, Lee Sin's just there for his ult anyways.
Right.
And again, I don't know if we have any Lee Sin players. I don't think any of the people from last season played it, and I don't remember seeing on the top 10 of the people this season. But yeah, I think it's going to be really strong competitive. I think it's still really hard to play Lee Sin at a high level in like silver and gold. So total effect for our league, maybe not the strongest, but you can still kind of pub stomp people with Lee Sin even in gold
I was gonna
sometimes if
say,
you actually
as
know
a
how to play
whole,
him.
though, it's good.
Yeah, no, I think I'm not a fan. I hate playing against Lee Sin. I think it's one of the most frustrating things ever. So I don't like this change, but I know it's probably what he needed to become valuable with the Sightstone removal. And granted, I think the Sightstone removal means he's going to be a lot less frustrating in general to play against anyway. So
Well, all right, that's it for this patch rundown. Everything else doesn't matter because Morgana's gonna be broken still. So, all right.
now this is a big nerf.
I mean, it hurts her mana. Sure, why not?
But
Like,
that's what's it's she still has the 3 second binding. I'll grant you that. But
it's.
it's
I don't
almost
think this is enough to hurt her poke. You're still gonna be doing somewhat decent damage. If you still get hit by a Q, you're still gonna get half health. Where sure, you can't just stupid throw it out every single wave. That's fine, grant you. But I mean, I really don't think this is enough to really do that much. An extra 30 mana in your Black Shield, you're using that maybe 3 times anyway. First
well.
lane phase.
It really depends. What I see this is doing is opening up the potential for um, heavy ganking and just more aggressive plays onto her because that 30 mana is going to be pretty big.
Right, but who in the meta other than Gragas right now, pre-6s are ganking jungler? That's halfway decent.
There's a decent amount of them. I'm gonna have to. I don't even remember who's in meta, but I know most of them can at least gank a little bit. And maybe the lack of Morgana
Zin?
can help bring them back. Let's see.
And that's I think that would be I think that maybe
Trundle.
yes.
Trundle's pretty decent. Kindred doesn't have any hard CC, but that slow is a pretty big deal. J4 is
Right.
kind of seen play. Sejuani. Tank.
It's
A
gonna
couple tank junglers are coming back like Sedge and Zac. So
it's gonna take something. I mean, grant you, I'm not saying it's not a nerf. It is. Um, I just don't think that it's gonna be enough to really do much with her, especially with the nerf to fiddles. Um, that was counter. Now, if you, I guess you could play. I guess you probably could play like something like a Nami to force her to use her mana. Uh, Stay healthy with it. Something pokish actually might be okay in it right now.
yeah,
Being that
I
she
was
can't just
thinking
constantly use Black Shield for free trades.
I was thinking kind of pokish or even if you've got someone that can do a lot of almost non-committal engages to try and force her to use the Black Shield, right? Like Rakan. Rakan
Mm,
can jump in, dash out. She has to use Black Shield. If she doesn't, they get knocked up. But if she does, it's costs her significantly more now. Um,
right.
so just something that can force her if she uses a spell to be punished for it, which I think is a decent direction to go for. Obviously, it'd be nice if we all just destroyed her mana pool elsewhere, but I think this
Right.
opens up the
If we just
window.
made it so she only had 100 mana total, I'd be happy.
This opens up the window for playing against her to be a lot better, I think.
Yeah.
So I like
I
this
still think she'll be
change,
top
and
tier.
the mana regen is that's pretty big, right?
Yeah.
You're losing an extra mana every second, essentially. So
I think she'll still be top tier. It's
yeah,
definitely not enough to bust her out.
yeah, she'll still be solid. I still expect most of our supports in the league to play her because still throw out bindings, right? It's gonna take coordination to actually punish us, but it's definitely punishable.
Right.
Right, on to Olaf changes. We saw
Yes.
we saw a couple Olafs last season. Looking at this, it looks like a decent change. An extra 15% bonus attack speed from W is not bad at all.
Levels clear and whatnot.
That's
Help is clear early dueling.
so yeah. I mean, that's a free dagger
Yeah,
at all
I
levels.
think I think it's good.
Yeah. So
Um, with the way the meta is right now, I guess yeah. Actually, that I don't know if it's gonna be enough to really bring him back. I think other champions are just they're just doing. There's just too much damage early right now in comparison to him.
eh, I mean, we'll have to see because I think he does an okay amount of damage early. The hard part, I think, is not having CC to really make a good amount of plays. Um, Especially with how unreliable the axe can be sometimes. But I think this is definitely good, helping his clear speed. He's going to be able to fight over Scuttle more. Um, and I think someone like Adrenaline is really going to really appreciate this change. So we might see him playing it a little bit in the league. Because he's always playing these more kind of aggressive dueling type junglers. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of like why he's not like in meta right now, and I think it's just because other people are probably doing better than him,
yeah, that's my
which is
guess,
weird.
right?
Because Olaf is like the depiction of a dueling jungler.
Yeah, a lot of them are dueling better, and I think a little bit of he doesn't have CC and a lot of the other junglers do, which makes it a little bit harder for
Right.
him to get things done. And then there is an influx in damage as to what we used to be. So like when he tries to run face first, he is just gonna kind of die in a lot of
Yeah.
scenarios. But maybe if he gets ahead a little bit earlier, that won't be the case. So
Right. Definitely a snowball-ish jungler.
yeah,
Not having any mobility really hurts right now. I feel.
for sure. Even with
I guess he
Ragnarok.
can't be. I was gonna say he can't be CC'd, but it doesn't matter when you're running into someone just one tapping you anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
All right, Quinn.
Armor decrease. I like this.
Yeah,
I like this
this
a
is actually
lot.
really good.
I mean, the passive change is again one of those things where you look at it and just go, is that really like a change?
Right,
5 damage.
an extra 5 damage will make her possibly do an extra auto attack or something.
Yeah,
Ooh, camps.
yeah.
That's
That
mainly people were playing her as far as I know. It's in the jungle, right?
no, they're playing her pretty much everywhere, bot and top. I
Yeah,
haven't seen a Quinn jungle yet.
that's where I've seen like all of mine.
Huh. Yeah, I've only seen the bottom and top. Which
See,
so
I don't know. All right, I'm just boosted, but yeah, it's a bunch of Quinn jungles randomly, and some of the Korean streams I was watching. That's what I kept seeing,
huh.
which
Yeah, I
is
don't know.
really weird.
I could see the appeal there, but I think she's such an oppressive laner that
Yeah,
at lane like you can really play her anywhere. So the armor nerf will definitely remove her from jungle, right? Losing 4 armor for an 80 carry in the jungle.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, you're
yeah,
done.
you're not going to see her there anymore probably. And the 5 damage that might stack up, but I mean you're not getting Harrier procs every auto attack, right? So you're not losing too much damage off of this. But definitely look at the armor nerf for potential outplay. You might be able to see something like I don't know, Jace, Renekton, those kind of likes just get on top of her and actually demolish. But again, I don't think we have any Quinn players, so not too big of an update here for her. Plus, she's theoretically actually getting a buff anyways later on in the
Mm,
patch, which we'll get to.
yeah,
Syndra though, holy shoot,
Yankees.
that's big. That's decent.
That's a lot of early game damage. I mean, being that you're maxing it, it falls off eventually, but that early levels 1 through 5, you're gonna be
You
feeling
feel
that.
that, yeah. That's pretty big. An extra 20 damage at level 1 for a fairly spammable spell. That's good. This might give Syndra what she needs to start holding up in lane a little bit better. It'll up her wave clear. It's gonna up her trading. So I
I'm
really
really
like
happy
this
that they
change.
flattened it back out to standard because if
Yeah.
they would have kept that 20, that would
Yeah.
have been nuts.
250. Oh my god. Yeah, that wouldn't have been
I'm
okay.
really happy that they changed that.
Yep. So I think that's a good change. Don't know if it'll make her top. I know she's seen a little bit of competitive play, but not a whole lot. So
Yeah.
this will make her a bit better to play in solo queue, and
Mhm.
hopefully we'll see her in the league because I like that change. And Thresh buff
Shouldn't be seeing any of this,
from left field. Um, hey, we might see
yes,
Slash Andy play it
I guess.
when Bard gets banned. Um,
Right. You're not going to be feeling the dark passage ever.
no,
Late in the game, yeah, sure. But,
don't you max that second though?
I mean,
No, that
I,
is last.
I
Okay.
never
Yeah,
did.
that
Yeah,
is a worthless buff.
yeah. That literally doesn't
This,
matter.
yeah, this you'll never see this. This you might see an extra
Play
20%. Um,
again. You max that first, so you're going to be feeling it 1 through 5.
yeah.
And you're only going to be feeling that too much into melee matchups to begin with. And it's maximum AD contribution. Thresh has what, 70 AD base? He's getting an extra
Doesn't
20%, 70. His souls give AP.
oh they give AP. Shucks.
So like,
Yeah.
so I mean, he's seriously getting what, an extra, I don't know, quick math, 10 to 15 damage. Which don't get me wrong, I mean, yeah, it's nice, but that's at rank 1. It just keeps going down from there. So this isn't really enough to do anything for him.
No, yeah,
It's nice,
this
but
is hella placebo.
yeah, for sure.
I still want to see Slash Andy play it, but this isn't going to do anything to help him. So
No, you aren't gonna feel this too much.
nope. All right.
Oh,
Support
oh, what the
items.
heck's going on here?
Apparently supports are too healthy, my friend.
What the? This is dumb.
Yeah, so basically supports are going to get one less potion in lane, which means you're also not going to be able to buy refillable potion as a support anymore. Um,
That feels real bad, man.
yeah, and if you want to get like a control ward, you don't get a potion at all. So
Yeah, that this kind of hurts actually.
it does. Now, yeah, this is like a super double-edged sword, right? Because this is theoretically a buff to like poke supports, because they they
Right.
start poking a melee. That melee is not going to heal up nearly as much. But at the same time, if you engage onto one of those people, they're not going to be able to heal up as much either. So
Yes.
it's
I personally don't like this change, probably because I'm a support player, but
right.
um,
I
I don't know why this was needed.
no, I definitely agree. I think this was a little unnecessary. Support players are going to have to really watch their positioning and how they're playing, because that's 50 gold on a support. How much does health potion heal? 150. Right?
Yeah,
That
I mean, you're losing 150 health.
you lose 150 health as a support off of this, and that's not insignificant at all. That's like 2 spells.
Yeah,
So
Shoot, that's a spell and an auto attack.
yeah,
That's I mean, that's a lot.
yeah, I would say Spell Thieves is getting hurt by this more so than Tarragon's and Coin,
Yes.
just because that doesn't have any innate health regen. So definitely feel a little bit better about this as like a tank or a peel support, because if you do manage to get something off onto those mages like Brand or something, they're literally screwed. So I think it's interesting, but I don't really see where or why it came from.
I think they're just trying to bring poke supports back, which they can get out of here.
But I mean, they've been back. They've been doing really well.
I
That's
know.
why I don't think that's the aim. And I actually see this almost as a bigger buff to Relic and Coin, just because poke supports are going to have to spend the more of the gold that they're earning on potions
Right.
now. So, but we'll have to see. Especially because I mean, characters like Alistar and like Janna, right? They're already negating damage, so theoretically they don't need as many potions.
Yeah.
It's a lot of theoreticals. Like, we'll have to see how it actually plays out, but I think this is actually worse for poke supports now, because you can engage
Yeah.
onto them and it's going to be meaningful at this point.
Lilac agrees
With you, or
that this change is garbage.
yeah,
All right, you ready to dive into the little beast here?
yeah,
Little mini beast.
I think so. 80 carries. Oh boy, they're back.
All right, so difference. Just I guess we'll go item by item. Mini edge down 200 gold. Build path feels a lot better, I think. As opposed to having to get double BF, you can at least get a BF and a pickaxe, which is really nice. So now you're not forced. If you go back for a pickaxe, it doesn't feel quite as bad with the changes to Stormrazor. Whereas if they wouldn't have made this change to Infinity Edge and you only had enough for pickaxe, you're pretty much screwed.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Build path is infinitely better.
yeah.
Just straight up less gold. That's good. The hard part is when you start looking at the stat nerfs and the kind of changes there. Because I mean,
So
longsword is what 15 attack damage. Or
yeah,
is it 10?
Did they take out the buff or the thingy that does the old 250% to minions? 'Cause they were adding that. They apparently took that out.
That was on here, huh? I guess they must have taken that off. Shoot.
Um,
I think that's fine.
yeah. This being cheaper and losing a little bit of damage is actually relatively okay. Because like the reason the ADCs weren't good is because their items were too freaking expensive. You couldn't get there.
Yeah.
Um, Now with this change, I still think most people are gonna go Storm Razors. We'll get into that why. If Storm Razors would have stayed 3,200, I don't think they would have.
No, and I don't think Riot. I think Riot wants people to go Storm Razor first, anyways.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
So this is yeah. So you're
so I think
you're just real
go
quick
ahead.
on the Infinity Edge, just so people
Yeah.
know. So longsword's 350. You get 10 attack damage from it. You're losing 10 attack damage on this, but you're only saving 200. So you actually are losing just 150 gold in flat stats here. Um, but beyond that, true damage conversion is lower too, and that's a really hard number to actually quantify in terms of stats. But you are losing a significant amount of effectiveness here, but you are getting it sooner and with a better build path. So really trade-offs of what you're actually wanting here. But I think overall this is a buff.
Raw damage numbers, I guess, nerf, but the actual building of it's going to feel a lot better, a lot healthier.
Yep.
All right.
Storm Razor, this one is pretty big.
Yeah, 400 gold off for 1080 and 25 or 5 attack speeds. Pretty decent, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Again, this is the same thing where you could look at it and be like, oh, you're losing 80 in attack speed for 400 gold. Sure, whatever. The ADCs are doing enough damage as is already. It's not that they weren't doing enough, it's that they couldn't get to their items to be able to do that damage. They were overkilling. If it got to late game, they were just nuking everything.
Yeah.
They saw a tank and they were dead.
Just look at him.
Exactly. And so I think they're taking down the damage, able to get their items legitimately now. And Storm Razor being 400 gold cheap is a lot.
Yeah, 2,800. That's ridiculous. That's the same price as a Zeal item now, right?
Yeah.
This is stupidly cheap for what it's offering, right? 65 attack damage, pretty decent. 25 attack speed, pretty decent. Guarantees a crit on your first hit. Unbelievably useful, and it scales because the crit damage it has scales. So just in terms of what this item is as a whole is unbelievably useful. So even if you're losing, again, you're losing 350 gold here. You're losing 5%. That's a little bit less than half of a. You're actually losing about almost 600 gold value, right? But the guaranteed crit, the scaling of it, totally worth getting it. More than a kill's worth of gold earlier.
Yeah. I really do think that this is both these items together getting changed like this is definitely a good thing.
Yeah,
I'm happy with this so far.
That's a really good buff. Storm Razor is solid, and now you're gonna see. The part I hate about Storm Razor is that assassins are picking it up, and it's just like a stupidly strong item for them. It's just like, oh, well, they just get it for way cheaper, right? And all they want out of it is the crit, right? They don't care about the attack damage. The attack speed is nice, but it's not ideal. So
Yeah.
this is a buff to assassins and 80 carries, and definitely gonna be affected in the league because I don't think we saw any mage bot lane players. So
Not many.
yeah, this is huge. Essence Reaver buff, 5 attack damage. Nobody cares.
Very few champions care about
Yeah,
that.
okay. It's 175 gold more efficient. Solid. Moving on.
Zeal items down 100 gold, well warranted. Same with Phantom Dancer. I don't know why. Oh, okay, it's 100 gold less. Anyway, I was like, I don't know why they didn't just group that with them, but I realized now it's 100 gold
Yeah,
less.
yeah. For some reason, PD's just generally 100 gold less, even though I feel like it's amazingly
Good item.
useful what it can
Mm,
do. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm sure they have internal numbers that I just don't know, but
right.
yeah, this is nice, but not really huge. 100 gold, still 100 gold. Um, but yeah, I mean
You're,
this puts this in line with Stormrazor now.
you're essentially getting a pickaxe for free. With the gold differentials now, it's going to be about 800. 800 cheaper for a full build.
Yeah,
That's
so
really nice.
yeah, you're 400 there, 200 and 100.
Another 200.
Oh, yeah, 200
Not too
for two items. Yeah,
yeah.
that's if you go. Most people are actually just kind of stopping at like one zeal item I've seen, but
If
sometimes
you
they
keep
go
the
two.
storm razor, yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, no,
no, yeah,
it's pretty solid.
it's definitely good to have these cheaper for the ADCs. They really needed something to bring the crit ADCs back. Like him and I have talked about this probably 30 times, um, and where I don't like the mage bot people, but I accept the fact that I think it's nice that you can go one or the other.
Yeah,
As opposed to being like you can only go ADC, and if you're not, you're boosted, or you only go mage if you don't, you're boosted. Um, I think it's kind of nice to have this at a nice even point, and I think should create that.
I'm a little worried that it's gonna put a little bit too far in the AD carry swing. Just because like mages typically have really bad wave clear early because they're
Yeah,
reliant on their spells and their mana pool and all that stuff. Whereas AD carries, all they gotta do is right click, even if they don't have something like a storm or sorry,
exactly.
like a Runons yet, they're still gonna have a more effective wave clear for a decent time than the mages, which is gonna be oppressive to them and shutting them down. Um, so we'll have to see how it actually plays out, but this is definitely going to bring 80 carries back, which means you might start seeing a couple more tanks in response, especially now that they're going to be less effective against tanks because of the IE nerf. So
I know, like in Korea at least, when I was watching, if the game wasn't over by 25 to 30 minutes and there was an ADC versus a mage, ADC won 90% of the time. Um, if the game was not Nexus exploded over, but to the point where they're like 10k gold ahead. So mages definitely needed to win early because they were better. It took forever for ADCs to get their gold. Now, being that these are cheaper, that window got a lot smaller
yeah,
for mages to be viable in the bot as opposed to an ADC.
yeah,
So I think this is definitely going to hurt that. And yes, it might take them out, but I still think something like a Swain can still be used. Maybe the Dong. I don't know really what else they were playing, even in LCK. Vlad? They're
yeah.
still playing Vlad?
Saw some Vlads. Saw. I mean, some people were still doing things like Morgbot as like the kind of just the wave clear carry, that kind of stuff. But I mean, it was definitely
You definitely
settling
can't do that
down.
anymore.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Let me we'll touch Mercurial real fast, and then I'm gonna actually do some comments on the stream real fast. Yeah,
Okay.
so Mercurial, 200 gold less, um, but losing 15 AD, so losing a lot of efficiency there, but you can get it sooner. I don't think that's a big deal, though. I would rather have that. I think I would rather have the AD than getting that sooner because mostly you're just getting that as a QSS upgrade anyways. So
I said, yeah.
this is a
Um,
late game item, so having it be cheaper to me means very little. I'd rather have the actual pure stats on it.
this is one where it's definitely a nerf.
Yeah,
No one, you're not going to get this generally third, fourth item.
no,
It's your last item. You're not getting it for anything really other than QSS. You're just doing it be like, well, I got the QSS and I got the gold, so I might as well upgrade it all the way.
right, yeah, and I mean there are some other buffs to like getting this as slot efficiency, cooldown timer on the QSS, but I mean generally that early on you only need the QSS about as often as the Malzahar ult is up anyways, right?
Right.
So Yeah, I would rather. I would if I was an AD carry player, I would rather have the stats. I could be wrong here, but yeah. And then okay.
What did you want to touch on stream?
There's a little bit of a conversation going on about AD carries being healthy or mages or that kind of stuff. So Lilac is actually one of the only other people I've seen ever say that auto attacks are busted, which I am yeah, I agree. I think auto attacks are we'll have this conversation in public because I think you and I have only discussed this between the two of us.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. And the way I see it, auto attacks are a really unhealthy game mechanic because it's resourceless, it's from range, and it does more damage than anything else in the game, right? And so, sure, your character's kind of squishy, and that's the idea of it, but the way that they were way before was super unhealthy, where you would two-shot everybody, unkillable. It made the focus point of the game very boring to me, where it's just like it didn't matter what you did. At some point, this character was the most important thing, no matter what. And I think that's a really unhealthy game focus. So I liked seeing mages down there because it changed the focus of the game. It made it more personal, not just like, well, it doesn't matter because this Tristana's gonna hit 3 items at some point and just stick it up my bum. I'll let you kind of rebuttal with whatever you might have, and then we can move on.
The reason I liked it is because for me as a support player, at least, it felt like it gave my lane um, a necessity. It gave my lane worth. Where mages, I never felt that. We were just kind of there. Where the ADCs is like, all right, I know I'm playing this lane and I'm required to do well in this lane so that we can win. But it's always been that if a mid laner assassin gets fed and they can burst the ADC, they die themselves maybe, but you're making that trade. The other ADC is still alive. So I think it's because I was forced to play better for my ADC, and I think that I don't see auto attacks as a super toxic mechanic where they were at before, where they were two-shotting everything. Yeah, I can agree.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah, 7 years in a row, my friend.
And I mean, there was times where ADCs weren't that broken. There was.
Yeah, that's due to just extreme overtuning of assassins usually.
Right. That or tanks did as much as an ADC, and it was just like, okay.
Even then, that was
there was a couple times.
I always felt like oh my god, this tank out damages me. I always felt like that was a huge overreaction. But
where they're at before, where they could get Quinsu's and just they hit late game already right there, or when the supports got Ardent Sensor, it was the supports that were overtuned, sure, but it made the ADCs way overtuned because of just how it reacted with them.
Right.
Yes, I will say for at least 2 years, year and a half, somewhere in there, ADCs have been in a really bad spot but good spot. Good if you're an ADC playing it because you're like, haha, I'm super strong. But I don't see it as super unhealthy. The reason I don't like mages is because now it's like, now I have to have an assassin AD like either assassin mid or jungler.
Right.
Kind of what it felt like.
Or top lane.
I
go with
hate
like a Darius top, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in similar to how you feel like it kind of like invalidates your role, right? For again 7 years, it's kind of invalidated every other role. It's just how good AD carries were, right? Just like, well, we got to have something to help our AD carry get to his point. So let's just double down, sometimes triple down on tanks, right? It's just like it doesn't matter what the rest of the team does. Just this guy's the guy. So I think it's a lot healthier for the game as a whole, not having to be so ridiculously broken and having outside options like mages. But
would you? I think ADC is a very awkward role.
Oh yeah.
Because like who was the ADC at last year's Worlds that won it?
Prey?
Prey? Who won Worlds last year as ADC? Prey?
I think so, right? It was Prey and Gorilla. No. Those two are all on Longzhu.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever was on Samsung, I don't remember the names. They're no
right.
names.
So what I'm trying to get to is that they probably weren't the best bot lane in the world.
I don't remember any of their players though.
God, I'm gonna look this up.
I don't know anybody from Samsung because they're just such an unmemorable team. Samsung White was super memorable.
Right. Worlds 2018, right? That would be 2017.
Ruler? Lilac's saying it was Ruler.
Oh, it was ruler, wasn't it?
Okay. All right, let's try to get back on the patch breakdown though.
Sorry.
We
All I
diverged
was
there.
right. So all I was trying to say is that I don't think that they were so overtuned and so busted though that if you didn't have the best ADC, you couldn't win. I think that it helped to have a good ADC and good bot lane, but in the overall sense, they were just kind of there for the ride as well as to do the damage. Like I don't know, it was just a really
I
weird
mean,
spot. I
I
think
mean,
last year
even
for it.
now, right? If it's not like you can just forfeit your bot lane, but like,
Right. If Uzi
so.
wins Worlds this year, my point's invalid. It's just how it is,
I'm start investing in RNG right now.
right?
All right, jungle changes though. This is good because they tried fixing funnel and they actually just screwed over good junglers by doing it. So this will make it a little bit less egregious towards junglers that are actually doing their job well. Hard for junglers might actually start feeling this still, like someone that just sits in the jungle as Master Yi. But
I hate this change, honestly.
from what it was last patch,
I don't like this at all.
it's
Because
better
okay,
than what it was last patch though.
right, obviously they need to do something.
And this is only affecting if you have a machete. Like it's still an awful mechanic, and they said they're working to fix it. Um, but it's at least a change from how it was last patch. So carry junglers are going to be
Yeah,
able to at least kind of be effective and not get screwed over if they have to catch a mid lane wave.
I exactly, and that's why I didn't like it. Is because
Yeah.
it still feels really bad. If you've been power farm, you're at Graves, and all you're doing is power farming, right? The lanes are getting crushed, and they just so happen to have bad farm, or even in this elo, like can't mess up jungle farm.
Yeah.
You can mess up lane farm pretty
Yeah.
easily here.
Graves, Kane, Master Yi, those
It's
guys
hard.
might still feel this, but
Exactly. You have a mid laner die. You need to go and catch the wave. I know. He referred to it on the dive. Kobe, I think, or whoever it was. I don't know.
yeah, I
Um,
yeah, his story was so
it's
sad.
like I never thought of that. I was like, oh, this is good. And then I started thinking, I was like, wait, no, this is actually pretty bad.
Yeah.
Um, not being
Um.
able to get this really can hurt a jungler a lot. It was like, there's no reason to catch a mid wave anymore. You just lose time.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I,
it's
I
it's a hard thing to fix.
I
I
think
agree.
what they should have done, because I know I was spitballing with you like what they could
Hmm.
do to fix it, and I threw my aim at experience sharing in mid lane,
Yep.
and I actually think
That's
that
what
if they
supposed
did
to be on.
experience sharing in this way, I think that would actually be viable.
Hmm.
To where you wouldn't share experience if you had like the highest gold on your team if you had that item. So if you took it, the other person would be screwed. That would still stop funneling, but if you catch the jungle as a mid wave, you still get the XP because no one else is there. Um,
Right.
so I think if they were to change this, I would rather see this instead of being a gold hit, being an experience hit. That way, you couldn't just have your support be there to guarantee you that mid wave when you're doing things, and that would also kind
Yeah.
of bring back smite mid if they wanted.
Hmm.
Right, you'd be able to see the Talons doing smite mid. God forbid, I hate Talon, but you'd be able to see that. So I definitely think punishing gold here when they could be doing XP sharing instead is a pretty sad thing, but I don't balance games for a living, so I could be wrong.
Right. There's a reason we're not doing it for Riot.
Right. Um, but yeah, this won't have too big of effect. It's definitely better than what it used to be. Again, people like adrenaline, and maybe Jupiter, if he's playing anything aggressive, will be able to still be strong and not get punished for it. So that's a decent change at least, better than what it was. Stopwatch getting
Watch.
re-nerfed. Woo.
Okay. It's 2 minutes later. If you're getting into a fight 2 minutes earlier, then you might die. It's still not a bad item to get.
It's
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 still not a
still
bad
it's still decent, but I mean, when they
run.
first nerfed it, you started seeing like one or two of these a game instead of like three
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
four. So definitely
It's much more
not
niche.
ideal. Having it be 2 minutes later because 2 minutes is a pretty big deal, especially in the current tempo of the game. But
All right.
yeah, that's
Promo
a nerf,
collection. Don't care.
and that's it.
Store giftings. Ads. Cool. New
That
stats set
is
up on the profile page. Oh, that's kind of nice.
yeah. Mobilytics is gonna go under. I'm sorry, my friends. They're basically doing what Mobilytics does, but built into the client. So
Right.
we'll have to see how well it actually works.
Any any good news? Oh, Parrot got some love. That's what I like to see. Everything else I couldn't care less. Caitlin's garbage. Rek'Sai is relatively meh. Gangplank's okay. He's always busted. So
Where are
we
you
got some
looking at?
Tarek love.
Where are you looking at them?
Chromas.
Uh,
I like to look at the skins.
yeah.
Yeah, overall, I don't think this is a bad patch. I think it's pretty much TLDR. Bot lane's still just going to be AD focused. Supports aren't changed too much. I don't think quite yet. We might see effects later, but I don't think for next 2 weeks we'll see anything crazy happening.
No, but I definitely think yeah the 80 carry changes are definitely the highlight of this patch, especially in regards to the tournament, just because well somehow it's strong 80 carry players. So I'm thinking again I haven't seen a play, but 100T noob putting out pretty good numbers on not so great 80 carries right now. They're going to be even stronger, so I expect to see him do well. King D likes him some crit 80 carries. He'll be popping off. Soccer is going to love this. So definitely going to see some familiar faces coming back and doing really well, I think. And we'll just have to see how all the new faces do as well with these changes. But generally, yeah, we're going to start seeing a little bit more carries in the bot lane instead of just these strong carries in the other roles.
Yeah, I think it's not going to shake up the meta too much other than bot lane. I don't think top, mid, or jungle is really going to be affected at all
Yeah.
by
Well,
much of any of this.
yeah.
I mean, certain champions that are being played, I don't think are going to be affected.
Yeah.
How they're going to
Just
be able to do maybe, but
going back and looking at it with all those crit changes in mind, um, even with the Quinn nerfs, those items might make a general buffer, and same with the Kindred, right? Like Kindred builds
mm-hmm.
can build crit, so she's gonna like that. So those nerfs are even less effective against them just because of the buffs to crit items. So
Yeah, I think this patch gave Kindred a buff overall. Because that attack speed differential and the ult doesn't matter. Like those aren't enough to really do much to her.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. Excited to get to the season underway. See, I mean, shoot, see if anything crazy is. Excited to actually see this patch come out. I want to see what ADCs are actually able to do for damage. See how affected it really is by it. 5% true damage is still pretty strong.
yeah,
A loss.
yeah. I'm excited. It'll be interesting. We'll have to see. Like I said, tanks might be a little bit more in place now, just to deal with these crit items a little bit sooner. But we'll have to see.
Bring back a tank meta,
I
baby.
might. I would like the idea that I like playing tanks, but yeah, in general, mostly an 80 carry patch plus a Kali who again going to be disabled or not allowed for us this weekend. But that's always scary when a assassin gets reworked in such a manner.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to do.
Not really. Might stick around and talk with the chat for a bit, though. Let's see. Zeratai, gold funneling meta stems from every champ doing so much damage. You only need one CC champ to land something. You just jump kill him instantly. I mean, that's part of it. I mean, gold funneling is pretty essentially already stopped just because of the changes that they made.
Yeah.
But, I mean, because they hard destroyed carrying from bot lane, or at least they made it significantly harder because you can actually punish in bot lane. They took the duo to the other lane, which is mid lane, right, where you're only gonna have one other person unless they're also doing a funnel, and then you're just taking the jungle. So it's really just it was an changing of allocation, and it stemmed from the 80 carry nerf. The change to Scuttle Crab to be worth more gold and more experience, which is a pretty big deal. It makes it a lot easier to get resources onto that one person. But also the nerf to mana made it significantly harder for mages to push into this funnel because you're up against two people. You don't have mana as a mage to actually shove and do anything now. So it really opened up the door to that. We're hoping to stream a scrim. God, that's in like 27 minutes. I'm going to have to get with Prism about that. I'm probably gonna need to eat first. Well, we'll see. But yeah.
I'm down to Podcast one. I'm gonna go eat real quick.
Yeah, you can go eat. I'll sit here and talk with them.
Well, go eat so we can do a scrimcast.
I don't think I actually have time. Well, I might. I don't know. But yeah. I think the gold thing for in terms of punishing funnel is not so great because funnel requires two people. If you punish experience share it instead of gold, you wouldn't be punishing the solo jungler who's doing well. You would strictly be punishing the um, the funnel duo, right?
Yeah.
Because what are the chances of a jungler being ahead and walking into lane and getting upset because he's not getting XP from the mid laner, right? Like he's not gonna walk into lane and steal their XP anyways. And if he is, then he's kind of a dick. So
I'll be back.
okay, adios, man. But yeah, I would have preferred to see them affect experience because that would be a pretty big deal. That would have hit it just as hard, but I think better. I should send them that as an idea. Hey, he can cuss if he wants. He's a good kid. Let's see. You're wondering how the points work. Let me see if I can pull up our point generation. Did you follow yet, Galaxy? Because I know you get a boost of points when you follow us. I think. Let's see. Yeah, you get 150 points for following. Um, if you're subscribed to us, you earn 3 times as many points. Because right now you earn 30 points every 10 minutes that you're watching. No, you can talk without following. You should be able to. I'll have to look at the settings, but I'm pretty sure that was only on whatchamacallums. But yeah, you get points for following. I mean, if you want more points, start playing like roulette, and you can duel someone else. Here, let me give myself some points, and I'll duel you. All right, I've got an unreal amount of points right now. Still not as many as Tits. Damn. All right, let me accept that duel. Damn. Is it not? Is it not working for you for some reason, Lilac? There we go. 750 points. Oh, it's because you're subbed. You're earning 3 times as many points as everyone else is. Solid. It might take a bit for you to get the 150. I don't know if it's instant or not. Oh, it's probably because you were following before we ever did it, Ken. It probably doesn't give it to people that were following before we set up the chat bot, which is pretty stupid. But tell you what, I'll give you some points. if I can find you. I'll even give you. I'll give you. Yeah, I'm getting to you, Lilac. You guys have been here and talked. You don't need any, but might as well have some. They're fun. What buff would make Volibear usable again? Yeah, I mean, tank items coming back. I think it would be interesting if they gave him the same treatment that they gave Mundo, where I think they should lower his damage but increase his passive healing. Because it would fit him into the niche that he kind of wants to be in better without overextending and into things like damage, which are a little kind of egregious for him to have. So yeah, so I would say nerf the base damage on his ult maybe, and buff his passive healing. Would be kind of a good rebalance. Yeah, I'm wanting some Zac buffs. I want some Maokai buffs. I want Tank Galio buffs. Um, I would like for Ornn to feel good to play again, even though I know he's still one of the better tanks. A Volley's kit. Yeah, no, I agree. His ult is really out of place. I think the execute damage is really out of place. I think his ult is out of place. Well, I don't know. His kit actually works fairly well around itself, but not for like his passive is actually the one that stands out the most as being weird because he gets the attack speed buff, which kind of ties into his ult really well, but it is a little bizarre. Raka in the jungle, yeah, please no. Yeah, I would love tank Galio buffs. I love me some tank Galio. That was my jam. You just get righteous glory and just run at people. All right, I'm gonna try and snack on a little bit of food here before we do our scrimcast. We'll probably be back in about 20 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes. So I'll see you guys later. Tune in for that. Should be pretty fun. You can take a peek at our amazing pig ban overlay again. So I'll talk to you guys later. Adios.